Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to all, and good morning to y'all. Um, Welcome to another edition of Wake and Pack, you guys, on a Wednesday morning, Hump Day for all you freaks out there. You know what I'm saying? And let me just give y'all the Hump Day story. I don't know. Grandpa had a very, very smart ass grandpa. You know, he came up with all kind of sayings, and every Wednesday, this motherfucker be about Hump Day. I'm like, I'm a freak. I'm like, oh. You know, at the time he used to say that shit, humping to me in middle school and shit like that was like, you know, full clothes on. You know, like we not doing nothing crazy, but like we would go on to the girls and just hump them. You know, like dry sex. You know, so every time he said hump day, that's what I thought about. And then I asked him one day when I got older, I'm like, G Pop, man, what's this hump day? You always talking about hump day. Why you care about hump day? He was like, oh, it's just nothing but the middle of the week. I'm like, what the fuck do the hump got to do with the middle of the week? He like, because the camel hump in the middle of his back. I'm just like, okay, that's just how I wasn't thinking. So RIP to G Pops, man. We love you and we miss you. So yeah, that's why, you know, whenever, you know, it's a Wednesday and I say hump day, it all came from my great, you know, rest in peace, my grandfather, man. I'll tell more stories about him at some point. Maybe Higher Point of View will get a story time. But we are here. I'm glad had to get a little time. Get a little time to get a couple people up in here. But you know, we will open up to all the questions and all that, but let me give my code open. Okay. So yesterday a part of this show, there was a question proposed to me. And let me tell you guys, the reason why I'm doing this is because for my own, you know, y'all gonna get to know me eventually. Y'all know me partially, you know, I tell you guys stories about my personal life. You get my personality, all that. But one thing I do not like is, you know, when a motherfucker just be running a mouth saying all this, that, and the third. Sometimes I be wanting to stop them in the middle of it, like, hold up. Where'd you hear that at? Hold up. How do we know if that's true? Where'd you get your reference from? You know, like, because motherfuckers be out there running their mouth and creating stories and shit that just came from their own stories, right? So I'll just take it, I don't know, a mini segue. Like this one time, it was a teacher. I was like in middle school, probably 5th or 6th grade, right? So I was always the tough kid in the school, in the class and all that. So, you know, I was pretty much punking everybody, right? And I don't know why this grown man had it out for me, but he was a teacher and, you know, he would always challenge me in ways. I'll be like, what's wrong with this dude? So one day, I guess I was interrupting this class, doing my regular shit. And he asked to see me after class, right? But he asked like in front of everybody. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll see you after class. And everybody leaving the class. But when he said that, everybody was like, ooh, what are you talking about? Everybody leaving the class, you know, the homies was leaving the class. I was going to leave with them. Like, I'm just walking out, leaving with them. He's like, hey, I said we needed to talk. Kind of aggressive. So I'm like, all right, cool. And the homies just looking like, okay. So I'm like, I go in the classroom. And, you know, he tried to kind of like pull me in the classroom, though. Like, I'm already coming. He tried to like grab me and like pull me in. So I gave him one of them, right? Like, you know, kind of get off me. So we get up in the classroom. Oh boy, roughed me up. Teacher roughed me up, y'all. His ass threw me against the wall. And that was like the first time in life I felt grown man strength, right? Because, you know, I had older brothers, uncles, cousins, all that. I felt the older brother strength. But again, it's my brother. I felt like the uncle strength. The uncles, I'm just going to ball up and take his punches. Big homies ball up, you know, take their punches. I ain't about to really be punching them. I know I ain't got a shot. So that's earlier coming up. So this is the first time where a dude who ain't my family or ain't a OG big homie from the hood or whatever really put his hands on me, slammed me against the wall. Tears damn near came down my eye, you know? So he just kind of had to show himself like, bro, I'm punking all the students. I'm the leader, the big dog of the school, bro. That ain't got nothing to do with you. But again, I guess he's a teacher. Maybe used to be a OG back in the day or something. So he had to show me that day. So he closed the door, lock it, and this motherfucker slammed me against the wall. And I was a big kid, but I felt that real grown man strength. And, you know, even the homies, again, the door was locked. They was outside of the bungalow like, man, we heard a lot of, you know, this is after the fact. They were like, we heard some tables and shit moving. What happened? So, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I was damn near, you know, like, damn, I ain't felt that grown man strength like that. And then I'm like, I'm not about to really try to fight this dude. This dude's a grown man. I'm like a 5th, 6th grader. So he slammed me against the wall. But what I did do, I said, you're gonna regret this shit. I said, you're gonna wish you never did this shit. So what I was gonna do, I was gonna tell my uncle, you know, soon as school was done, I'm waiting at home. I'm like, Uncle gonna pick me up. you know, so we could go do our little shit. I used to ride with my uncle all the time. I said, I can't wait to tell him. But then at the end of the day, I just didn't tell him. I'm like, you know what? Maybe a younger, higher point of view needed that. But let me just tell you the moral of the story, how stories can change. Literally, he had the advantage in there. He punked me. I was damn near in tears. But as soon as I walked out, the door was shut and they locked it. The homies was looking at me. I was able to gather my shit together, right? So they like, what happened? I'm like, man, fuck that nigga. They like, man, we heard tables moving and all that. I'm like, yeah, he was trying to like get a little physical. But when I, you know, I'm like, I was like, y'all seen when he came in the door trying to pull me in and I moved his hand. I was like, they was like, yeah. I'm like, well, shit, he was trying to do a little bit more of that in the classroom, even though clearly I got my ass whooped. I don't care. That was a grown man. He threw me against the wall. Like, you think you tough? But when I hit him with that, oh, you gonna wish you never did this shit. I don't know if he thought I was talking about somebody whooping his ass after school, like one of my elders, or if I was gonna go to the principal and say, this dude put his hands on me. So he was scared shitless. And people seen the different tone of his attitude because he knew he actually enraged and hit a student and was wrong about it. But me, I didn't even tell Unc. I'm a G. I didn't even tell Unc. I was going to, but I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's what I needed. And I said, you know what? That's a grown man. And it's just certain boundaries you don't cross. I was a middle school, you know, student. As high as prideful I was as myself, I wasn't going to take that fight. But I'm just saying, so that story ended up being higher point of view, beat up a teacher. Literally, I didn't beat him up, but you can see how a story would start from one mouth and keep going to different mouths. So shout out to my boy TR for calling me out yesterday on a certain situation. So let me tell you how the situation started. It started off as me being a hurt Packer fan. Why? Because I love David Bakhtiari. He is my birthday twin, one of my favorite players ever. And I really thought the year coming up, I'm like, okay, David's finally over all these injuries. Everything is done. Now it's time for 69 to come back and gain his spot back as one of the best left tackles in the league. Then comes the stories, right? So this could be me just being a hurt, disgruntled Packer fan and a David Bakhtiari lover for me getting emotional talking about the doctors, right? And I made a joke, you know, and it's been an ongoing joke with this channel. If you watch, I'll say Dr. Kevorkian. Now, he's a bad doctor overall. You want to do some research, he is the thumbnail. Jack Kevorkian, he did all kind of shit, more than, you know, all kind of shit. So that's when I kind of related, you know, a joke to saying that's who worked on David Bakhtiari. I already apologized yesterday to all the doctors across America and wherever they are. They have a job that is very hard. You have lives in hands of certain people. So I give respect to that part. But in this certain issue, again, when the question was proposed yesterday by my good friend TR, he's like, well, how do you know it's a bad doctor job? At the time, I wasn't ready for that because I wouldn't think about David like that. You know, David's been in the back of my mind for a long time now. I've been thinking Rasheed Walker. I've been thinking how we're going to move forward. I've been thinking about a lot of stuff. So I knew the story was embedded in my head. And I knew the initial thing when I read that story. And again, I read the shit twice. Whenever I read something, I read it twice. I read what happened with Bakhtiari, how he explained in his own words of the surgery and what happened with that. So we just going to dig a little deeper into that right now. And I'm just going to let you guys know how I was feeling at the time. No, I am not saying this doctor just went in there drunk or, you know, went in there, cut some shit up that he wasn't supposed to during surgery. You know, I wasn't saying it was that kind of deal where the surgery was bad. It was a miscut, overcut. I don't know the language of that. But what happened, it was a misdiagnosis. Okay, so 2020, David Bakhtiari had a ACL tear, partial meniscus tear, right? 2020, okay? The article I'm talking about, what you guys can see in the description or whatever, the comment box or whatever, it came out August 6, 2023, right? So he gets hurt in 2020. This article came out August 6, 2023, okay? And what was said, cartilage was a possible issue. It has always been a possible issue in this whole thing, right? But they didn't want to have to open that can of worms if they didn't have to. At the end of the day, they ended up have to. And 2023 is when they finally found the problem. Dude got hurt in 2020. So for y'all to finally find a problem in 2023, And they have said there has been multiple opinions. Okay, this is just not just one doctor. It's not like I'm calling out one doctor who worked on David Bakhtiari, like I'm putting his picture up, like this is the guy you should stay away from. I just made it as a joke, turning this into a whole Dr. Kevorkian thing. So that's what happened with that. But it was a cartilage issue that was said to be a possibility throughout the whole thing. So they knew about this cartilage issue. But what they did, they said, it's like a touch and go, wait and see kind of surgery. Normally, when we do this surgery here, we'll fix this part. And normally 80% chance of the time, again, there's always percentages, 80% chance of the time, this surgery is successful. If it doesn't work, then we know it's the other issue, So again, it's not like a doc went in there and just fucked some shit up during surgery. It just was like, you go to your car fucking up. You go to a car mechanic. Again, our bodies and cars' bodies are different. But you go to a car mechanic, you're like, all right, something wrong with my car. What's going on? What's the problem? How much I got to pay to fix it? He's like, oh, well, I don't know. You don't know. I could fix this, but then there might be another problem. But I don't want to start on that problem because if I fix this, that'll solve the issue. Well, I don't know if it's luck. I don't know if it's genetics because Elton Jenkins, similar injury. Robert Tonyan, similar injury. Rashawn Gary, similar injury. So I don't know if it's genetics, but all of those guys ended up being healthy. Our top tackle, David Bakhtiari, my birthday twin, a guy who was one of my favorite players, been injured. And then again, it is not the doctor's fault that this guy got hurt on the field during a non-contact play. That is not on the doctors. I'm not blaming the doctors for that, but I am just lightly blaming the doctors for a misdiagnosis of time. Now, they found out the problem is cool, but it was 2020 when he tore the shit. Y'all didn't find the problem until it was 2023. I'm just saying, this is a top-notch athlete, and time is very important for this dude. That might work for a coach. He can sit down and still coach. You seen Matt LaFleur tore his Achilles. He still had a boot on his shit. He was still out there on the cart coaching. But when we have a top tier athlete, time is an issue. So now I'm just looking like, okay, docs, y'all say we don't want to have to open up this can of worms because, we don't know if that's exactly what the problem is. So we're going to do this first. If that doesn't work, then we got to do that. Well, that basically means you still had to go in that bitch twice. But again, they went on different opinions. Not one doctor thinks the same way. 2-3 doctors gave opinions, and then eventually what ended up happening is what ended up happening to David Bakhtiari. The swelling continued after the surgery, and then they had to go in again, and that was the major setback. So I'm not saying no doctor just done went up in there and fucked some shit up during surgery, was drunk, or done had an argument the night before his wife and didn't have a right head mindset. We respect all doctors out there. It's a job that I don't want. But again, they do have to be held accountable too. Not every surgery a doctor does is a successful. Again, quarterbacks are not 100% out there with passing completion. Not any sport. You can still be great in the sport. One of the best free throw shooters ever probably got a 92% free throw percentage. 92 is damn good, but there's still that other 8% that a motherfucker might miss. So maybe it was just an frustrated Packer fan and David Bakhtiari fan at the same time, that kind of bothered me. But at the time the question was proposed to me yesterday at TR, I wasn't quite ready. It's been a year and a half or something since I read that real article. But what I did at that time of reading the article, it came up in my mind like, oh, eventually for me to sub it up in the higher point of view way, it was a whack doctor job. So I took that whack doctor job and turned it into Dr. Kevorkian and turned that into who I don't want touching our players. It's all came from a joke. So that's what it was about. But that's the reference that I got that from. That's how I felt that way. I couldn't directly say how I felt at that time because I wasn't ready for the question. And I ain't thought about David Bakhtiari or that article that I read twice. Now I've read it 4 times because I had to read it twice yesterday. And the same time I read it twice yesterday, I felt the same gut feeling that I felt then. So I'm like, oh, so I was right in my mind, how I thought, but I just didn't have the words to articulate at the time why I thought that way. But it was because of the article. You guys make up yourself David Bakhtiari's words and read the article and you let me know what happened. Doctors aren't perfect. Okay. But I just see I just say it was a misdiagnosis of time. That's all. They still found the problem, but they found it a couple years later, which we don't have time in football life, right? Like I said, it could be a coach or a motherfucker with an office job. Yeah, we can go surgery after surgery. I've been through a surgery, and that was brutal in itself. So having to keep going again, it's like, well, you eventually, hindsight's 2020. We didn't know what we knew before, but obviously that wasn't the problem, and it was something else. So they had to go in there again. So my mindset is like, well, shit, you would have had to go in there again anyway. You should have went in there, ultimately fix this guy up, and have my Packers potentially win an NFC championship, have my Packers potentially win a divisional playoff game, and all these games where this guy was missing. So it all starts for, first of all, my love of the Packers. I already apologize to the doctors out there. When I mentioned Kevorkian and injuries around the Packers, we just know we got a new strength and conditioning coach. Like, it's been a problem in Green Bay. So I'm not just making some shit up, pulling it out of my ass. But that is my cold open today, man, about the whole David Bakhtiari situation and why I felt strongly about even making jokes that it was a bad doctor job. Misdiagnosis is what I would call it, but it's a misdiagnosis off of something that they knew was possible. Now, if this shit just came out of nowhere, like, oh shit, we missed the whole shit. It was misdiagnosis. It was actually this, but the whole time they knew the cartilage might be an issue, didn't handle it, and that's why we are sitting where we are sitting. Millions of dollars wasted just paying this guy without him playing. Millions of dollars this has been one of the most underrated, devastating things that's happened to a team, man. Him being hurt is like any other team's top player being hurt. Our top player has always been Aaron Rodgers, but at that time, you could say David Bakhtiari was our second best player. So that's all I got with that. Now I'm gonna come fuck with y'all. Zane Strong, what's up, bro? Thank you for everything you do. Aloha, mahalo, all that, man. Shout out to Alaska and Hawaii. Thanks for always holding it down. Here my boy is right here. Good morning, TR. Okay, well, yeah, I would say it's kind of late for the live, but so you guys already know, inquiring minds may be on the way, and even if it ain't about this subject, there is an inquiring minds on the way of some sort. We got to close this year out, so shout out to my boy TR, for sure. And again, right here, right now, there is not a problem with me and TR. It never was and never will be. What America and just society has to do better is you and me, we can have a disagreement. You say your piece, I say mine. And this isn't even a situation with me and TR. I'm just talking about in general. You say your piece and I say mine. Can we shake hands and go have lunch together? Just because we disagree on something, does that mean that I suck or you hate me? You don't want to talk to me anymore? No. You got your feeling and opinions. I have mine. And I always tell you guys, I talk a lot on this bitch. I might say some shit. Listen, I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. And be careful because, when I do talk about shit, there's kind of some research and some bulletin points for argument behind everything I say, because again, I call me a debater, but I've been in certain debates where I just lost, and I learned from every debate. Like, if you ain't got the bullets in your gun, don't go to a shooting fight. Don't take a knife to a gunfight. If I'm gonna get on here and stand on what I'm saying, I gotta have some kind of assurance behind what I'm saying through seeing other stuff. So that's the article. And again, shout out to TR and thank you for it. Because again, I be watching motherfuckers all the time where I want to stop them right in the middle. Like, hold on, where'd you get that information from? Because that is important. Because motherfuckers just be saying shit out of their ass and just saying some blatant statements that I always call people out for. So I'm actually glad I was called out in a minuscule form with this situation. It was just a general question. TR wasn't trying to cause no friction or nothing, but he just was like, well, shit, how it was a bad doctor job? And hell yeah, he got every right to ask that if I'm jumping up and down screaming Dr. Kevorkian a bad doctor job. Oh yeah, well shit, we're gonna see TR soon, obviously, and TR is still in the building. Hey, ain't nothing going on. TR is my boy. Shout out to Eric Wallace, bro. What's the word? I ain't seen you in a minute. Hey, what I always say, if you're gonna be late, goddamn it, be fast or be late. My boy Ernie Martinez is in the house too. Milto's in the motherfucking building. When Milto comes, you already know what y'all should do. Hit that like button, okay? Hit the like button. Subscribe. Hey, pass along the word, you know, let motherfuckers know, hey, this nigga talking Packers every morning, at least in the weekdays, every morning. Go check him out. Who would be mad at talking about Packers on a motherfucking random Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? You know, I don't think it get any better than that. It just shows the love and appreciation we have for this team. I'm talking about these motherfuckers every day. So when they go out there and lose, I'm letting y'all know first, it hurts. And I don't like it, but there's a way that I think that we should be represented as total Packer fans out there to other organizations. So when we got Packer fans inside within the organization who acting crazy, making me looking crazy, I'm always going to call it out. And I'm always going to call out myself. So, you know, that was a time where I wasn't ready for the question. You know, I knew I had the facts in the back of my head, but I ain't read that article in so long. I knew I had the bulletin points of why I felt it was a whack doctor job. Again, you go to a mechanic, he's like, what's wrong with my car? He tell you, well, it could be this and it could be that. It's like, you a mechanic. You went to school for this. Figure it out. You a doctor. You went to school half your life for it. You paying shit. You paying back your schooling. I talked to this one doctor. I'm like, shit, when you gonna be done with your doctor loan? She was like, when I'm 67. I'm like, well, damn. I could figure out life by the time I'm 67 to where I ain't got to pay such a debt like that. But again, they save lives. Shout out to all the doctors out there. Oh, yeah. Nah, bro. Hey, I thought the same thing, Zane, but grown man strength is grown man strength. There was nothing I could have did in that position. I was a sixth grader. Although I was bigger than most, I was the toughest punk in all the sixth graders. This was a teacher who had an agenda. And I always said, if I see this nigga when I get older, ooh, I'm going to whoop his ass. And I seen him. And of course, I didn't even do it. I said, hello. I was thinking like, did he even remember that? Did he even remember me? But I sure seen him. You know, he still looked good, you know, but this was like higher point of view like 5 years ago. So like I was ready, you know, but I didn't even take it there with him. I just said, hey, you know, I was one of your students. Said, oh yeah, da, da, da. He didn't even. I'm like, I don't know if he remembered or not, but I was gonna have Uncle whoop that ass. Shout out to Patrice Goldberg. I think it was a success. And I don't know what my name is right now, Patrice. Let's see. There it is, Patrice, Higher Point of View Wrestling. So if you are interested in any of my opinions about the wrestling business, and I did do a Royal Rumble review. So if you want to see how I felt about the Royal Rumble, go check it out. But to answer your question, overall, the men's and women's Royal Rumble, it was a success. I think the things that needed to happen happened. Sad, CM Punk got hurt again. Going to be out again. Going to miss WrestleMania. Not going to get his WrestleMania moment again. So, you know, it was a good show. My bad. Here we go. This for my boy Zane, man. For sure. Shout out to Milto, man. Hit that like button. Hey, Packers Kingdom. Shout out to Packers Kingdom. First of all, I don't know what you're talking about, offense or defense, but you could be talking about both because I believe you. Front seven offensively and defensively. Well, front five on the offense, obviously. You know, but, bro, we in good shape all around, bro. I just seen, look it up, y'all. Chris Long talking. I'm like, is he a closet Packer fan? How does he know all this? Chris Long literally broke down our whole defensive line. And he broke down like they should have beat the Niners. And I just was so shocked that an ex-player that didn't play for the Packers was so knowledgeable about the Packers. But even Heavy D, Packers Kingdom, even Devontae Wyatt, a guy who you're questionable about, he's a gem, okay? Shout out to King Howie in the building. Well, hell yeah, TR is top shelf, you know? Hey, and great analogy because I'm smoking on this top shelf right here. Hell yeah. So just like me, when I go to the weed shop, you know, back in my younger, you know, broke days, I just used to look for the deals. Now, as soon as I walk in that bitch, I'm like, where the top shelf at? Give me the top 2, 3, you know, what the fuck am I looking for? Top 2 strands, top 2, 3 strands you got in this whole shit. You know, that's how I walk up in the spots now. I used to walk in trying to get a deal. I done drove all around Los Angeles because, you know, when you go to these weed shops out here as a first-time patient, they give you a little love. Man, I was a first-time patient at least 30 times in the same day. I went to every weed shop and got me just a gram just because I know I'm gonna get the first time deal. Me and my brother drove around, nigga. We went to every weed. We had so much weed. We started selling that shit. We start breaking it down. Let me shut up. We start breaking that shit down and said, shit, we got extra, man. Let's get up out of here. We done went to like 30 weed shops. You know, when that shit first start hit, like, oh, you're a first time patient, we'll throw you a free joint. You're a first time patient, you'll get double. You get 10% off. You'll get A. Man, we was going in there, you know, depending on the deal, we was going in there. What you mean, should we get Rasul back? I would love to. But again, hey, we've done certain things like that before. Who came back twice? You know, a couple people came back twice, and I would love that to happen. You know, I think the reason we got rid of Rasul, especially at that time, was like, he's not in our timeline anyway. Let's get rid of him. Let's get a comparable pick for him. And then we're going to work it that way. But now, since we are going to be Super Bowl contenders next year. Now, I'm not saying we're going to win the bitch. Now, I'm not saying that we cannot have a successful season without going to the Super Bowl next year. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying we contenders. We are. Did you see what we did this year? And then the teams that are playing in the Super Bowl. Hello, beat one. And really beat the other one too. Fuck it, we beat them both this year. They won the game, but we beat them both this year. Fuck the Niners. I'm trying to see now. I'm like, what's more important? Jordan Love's stature, how many rings he gets? Because I want to compare him to Patrick Mahomes. Why not? Why not? In Brady's day, everybody compare whoever came in or whatever to Brady. Why? Because he was king. Right now, Patrick Mahomes is king. So now I'm like, do I want Mahomes to actually get another ring? Because that's just another ring J Love gonna have to get. But I can't see the Niners winning, y'all. I just don't want to visually see that. And I love telling their fans, we won 2 Super Bowls since y'all won y'all last one. And we reached another one. You know what I'm saying? I love telling them that we need as many argument points as we can get with these guys. So fuck the Niners. I hope they lose. And I hope they lose in fashion of the Kyle Shanahan fashion. You know, lead, take a lead. You know, feel good about yourself. Everybody's cheering. Pat Mahomes comes through. That they should have won the last Super Bowl. Fucking all they had to do was run the ball 3 times, you guys, and kick a field goal, and that would have sealed the game. Boop. False start, and then boop, holding. So that's 15 yards that they lost. Knocked them out of field goal position. Pat gets the ball back, scores quick. Like boy, oh boy, Shanahan, hey, as good as Shanahan is, as we like talk offense and all that and this and that, bro, when this is the biggest moment, he doesn't show up, man. Yeah, that Seth shit, Zayn is a pipe dream. They just saying that to kind of bring realism to WWE, to saying that, listen, we know y'all know where we might go. We just gonna throw a wrench in there and give y'all a possibility. I would believe it if Seth and Cody didn't fight fucking 4 times already last year. You know, if they didn't have all them fights, we seen this shit so much and so recently that you got to think, Zayn, that WWE is not going to make that marquee match. You know what I'm saying? Hey. Well, if you believe that, Patrice Goldberg, I'm sure you already know him. Go check out my boy KHTV, King Howie, man. I'll be loving it. Like in the middle of it, you know, in the middle of watching King Howie video, he'll be like, "This is what the NFL is." I'm like, man, the NFL got to come up with that. Why these teams can't play hard and determine their own destination, you know? But hey, so KHTV, I like to ask you, what's this script? You know, I guess they did. Why do we have to see this again? We seen this a couple years ago, KH. Why the NFL make this the Super Bowl outcome? Taylor Swift, like where you at with this, KH? I'm gonna tune into your shit, bro. I'm gonna need that question answered. Yeah, but running it back don't necessarily. You already got these fan bases locked in, bro. Both of them. Next year, 10 years in a row, I think both of these fan bases gonna sell out every game. Why not let the underdog in? Why not let somebody else in again if it's scripted? You know, I was a part. Listen, I'm Mr. Conspiracy Theories. Like, I don't believe shit. But when it comes to football, I don't know if it's because I played so much in my life. And then I'm like, well, shit, how would they dupe me? At what point do they do it too? Like, because it ain't high school and it ain't college. So do they start rigging it in the NFL and just the players don't know? And then I'm like, well, more players will come out. And then some people, well, players have come out. But I mean way more. As much as clicks you could get nowadays for down in the NFL on some conspiracy theory shit, it's a lot of broke ex-NFL players out there with less money than me, bro. And I know a couple of them. Less money than me. They'll go on the pot, start their own podcast, do whatever they do. It's a lot of motherfuckers making a lot of money off YouTube and all that, just talking stories and shit like that. So, well, yeah, that's the realest. We can't even call college real now because, it's over with. Once they did that again, I respect it too. Hey, college students should make some goddamn money because all these, I ain't gonna be disrespectful, all these hicks, you know what I'm saying? All these people making money off of them, screaming, go, Roll Tide every year, all kind of millions, billions of dollars made off of this. And some of these kids don't even go on to the NFL. Some of these kids are just students, but they're putting their life on the line. They putting their body on the line. So I think in somehow, some way that, I'm glad they have a little freedom with the transfer portal and with them being able to, accept endorsements and do shit like that. So that ends a lot of scandals. Like Reggie Bush should not be in any trouble, man. You ask any logical motherfucker say, hey, our point of view, I'll get you a Hummer. Don't even trip. When you get on your feet paying back, I'm like, fuck it, give me a Hummer. Nigga, I'm going to make it back anyway, and this is what I want. You going to let me drive in it now? I'm going to be fronting. I'll be driving in front of every bitch like, hey, you see my car, Come on. Yeah, but again, it is definitely a question. It is definitely a question. Like, I can't, again, I'm more so of no. But if you give me some valid points of yes, and the number one point for me is money. If people want to make the most money, then the NFL probably is rigged. But again, the NFL is king anyway. They are the best sport. They are the most grossing, they make more money than any sport. That's why I'll be like, how these NBA niggas, actual players, be making so much and they don't even do shit. NFL players should get paid more because they're less on the shelf. But then again, NBA, you only paying 12 niggas. NFL, you got 53, you got practice squad, you got all kind of shit you got to pay for. And quarterback takes most of the money. Definitely. And one thing I would say, KH, if I was to answer, I would say it is not rigged, but it is heavily favored. Heavily, they'll put, just like Dana White, you see him sometimes. UFC is as real as it gets. Sometimes Dana will put somebody in a match like, okay, he should be able to beat him. It's going to give him more clout. He'll have a nice knockout, and then I could build him to fight the champion in like 2-3 times. Sometimes a motherfucker knock a motherfucker out, and it happens. Hey, what did Mike Tyson say? Everybody got a plan until you get punched in the face. Sometimes you've seen Dana after matches like, what the fuck? I was going to make so much money off this dude, and he just got knocked out by Joe Blow in the corner after 2 weeks of training. You're right about that. But hey, we gotta tell some people, KHTV, there's some fan bases in the same breath is like, well, if the NFL is rigged, why haven't I got another one? San Francisco. Why haven't they got another one since 90, whatever? Dallas. Why haven't they got another one since when? So when we talk about these powerhouses, these NFL, even us to a certain extent, I ain't tripping. I'm happy with what we've done. You already know. I'm not crying and complaining about, I want another Super Bowl. It's going to come. If you don't see it's going to come right now at this point, then, you need to just do something with your life. Yeah, I mean, it's on my Xbox, but I don't have time to, be playing it, man. All my time be on Madden. I brought NBA 2K. I ain't played it one time. I have not played that game one time, and I brought that game. I be stuck on Madden, bro. But yeah, I could fire that bitch up. I'm John Jones on there, though. I'll let you know that. I'm John Jones. I'm Yoel Romero. And everybody gonna pick Connor. For sure. But again, KH, is the NFL not ready to see Lamar in the Super Bowl? I think the consensus of hey, if you ask fans of other teams, right, that's not the Baltimore Ravens, hey, take your team out of it. Who would you want to win the Super Bowl? I wanted the Ravens to win. A lot of people, and I started realizing a lot of people wanted the Ravens to win who wasn't even Ravens fans and all that. I thought that would have been the bigger grab, man. You know what I'm saying? Ravens and somebody else. But again, Pat is that good. Pat is that fantastic. So, but yeah, man, that's what it is, man. I just had to get my little piece on how, and then we ain't talking about David Bakhtiari today just because he's a scrub. There's a lot of people, just let him go. It ain't that fucking easy, man. Watch that guy play. He's causing all this, topics and all this about Packers, because if he was Joe Blow on the corner. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody would care, but he's so good and so, polarizing that, you gotta like keep mentioning David, man. So again, yeah, for sure. But Buckley gotta learn, dog. I don't know, man. Maybe it was the scheme, like, and I hate to agree with like certain people, but like, or like, that wasn't the team we seen all year. They like I don't know what happened, bro. Again, you going against Andy Reid and Mahomes, highly motivated. Mahomes been hearing about this shit. Oh, Mahomes always had home games. This he had to go on the road and make a statement, right? So I think that's what happened there. Shout out to my boy Nick, man. Thank you for coming through. Oh yeah, Max is a beast too. I fuck with Max Holloway. I love him. Yeah, he's a beast too. Shit, and then Zane, Higher Point of View was supposed to be an MMA channel too. I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do. MMA, wrestling, Packer. I could do all that shit. But Higher Point of View Wrestling, if you guys are interested in that. But hey, thank all y'all for motherfucking coming through today. And at the end of the day, it's about David, bro. We just want our guy back. We want our player back. As good as Rasheed Walker, as good as, Zach Thomas, we can maybe get him come over there, Elton come over to left tackle, whatever. It seems like Rasheed Walker has, solidified his spot. But again, I want 69 back. Again, we went this long and exercised every option. Let's just wring the towel until it's dry. Why not? Why just let him go at this point and then he can go somewhere else and flourish, even if it's for a year, for 2 years. I would take a whole year of the David Bakhtiari we know for fucking nothing. I'll take that right now just to see it. He's that good, you guys. Look at him in the Chicago game. Out there just having fun, too. Then after, got to get the knee drained. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I ain't blaming doctors at the end of the day. But, again, it just took too long. Hey, we ain't got time to be sitting around 2-3 years, man, and not playing. But, yeah, but again, KH, that could be one of them narratives that I hope he's not listening to because it's so crazy. Lamar could go out there and win 100 games. He can't throw. The fuck you mean he can't throw? He can throw, okay? He can't throw like Mahomes, okay? He can't throw like Jordan Love, okay? But the motherfucker can throw. He's in the NFL. He's won MVP, going on to his number 2 MVP. So hopefully he's not listening to all that noise and let it get in his own head, but that can happen. But on that note, I'm motherfucking out of here, y'all. And listen to John Boehner, y'all. Everybody hit that like button, man, please. Shout out to KHTV. Hey, great Packers opinions, great Lakers opinions. I don't know how the hell me and KHTV were all square. We were all eye to eye. Packers love them. Lakers love them. This motherfucker want to root on the Atlanta Braves. I'm like, where the fuck that come from? Shout out to the Braves too, man. Shout out to the Braves. So shout out to Zane Strong. Thank you what you do, bro. Shout out to my boy Nick for coming through, man. If I forgot about you, I didn't forget about you. Patrice Goldberg, shout out to you. Miss Lady, hey, go check out that wrestling channel. I already reviewed the Royal Rumble. I already reviewed Raw yesterday. So you slacking on your Mac and Patrice. Go over there, show me some support over there. Hit the like button, Higher Point of View Wrestling. I will start putting the link in the description, whatever the fuck I got to do. Shout out to Packers Kingdom. Shout out to Milto. Hit that like button on the way out, y'all. Shout out to my boy TR, of course. Hey, thank you. Hey, y'all thank TR for making this show today, man. I was like, well, shit, let me go back and look. Because, again, I was stuck. I was like, I know why I said that, but I forgot. God damn it, I smoke a lot of weed. Shout out to my boy Eric Wallace. John Boehner, of course, again. And I'm out this bitch. I will see y'all tomorrow. Hey, Packers are bringing in more players. More coaches, y'all. Hey, Matt LaFleur, no stone unturned. Look at fucking everything. And he got 2 Ravens coaches. That tells you he ain't playing. He's like, if I don't get you, I'm going to get you. You know what I'm saying? But we need that aggressiveness, and we need that less is more right now. You don't need a motherfucker coming in and here's the defense with 4 or 5 words to, hey, keep it simple, stupid. Okay? I'm out.